And we are underway for the and also the PR1 men's sprint. So lane 2 from Griffith University Surfers Paradise, we have Sarah Ashley Tate, coached by Christopher Holliday. In lane 4 from Torrens Rowing Club, we have Mitchell Bales. And lane 5, the man on your screen at the moment is Eric Horry from Sydney Rowing Club. So Eric looking very comfortable out in front there. He has been selected to go through to the Paris Paralympics, where he is hoping to win Australia's first rowing Paralympic gold medal. So looking very comfortable out in front there, and certainly coming across the line in a very good time. So it's our first sprint champion of 2024 will be Eric Horry from Sydney Rowing Club. As we just see our next rower coming up, it'll be Mitchell Bales from Torrens Rowing Club down in South Australia, in the very distinctive red and white stripes of the Torrens Rowing Club. Mitch is at his first regatta and certainly rowing nicely as he comes across the line now. And Eric certainly cheering on these other two rowers in the event, the same as what he did for the 2,000 metre racing as well. So Mitch Bales from Torrens Rowing Club finishing in second in the men's PR1 single scull sprint. Then our final rower to come up the course will be Sarah Ashley Tate. She's coached by Christopher Holliday and from the Griffith University Surfers Paradise Rowing Club. So she will be the women's PR1 single scull sprint winner. So we can see Sarah Ashley there coming down the course. And again, this is her first regatta. And again, Eric Horry shouting out plenty of support to his fellow para rowers. Let's give Sarah Ashley a massive cheer as she comes up to the line. And she'll cross the line and take the win in the women's PR1 single scull. So Eric Horry in a time of 2:05.9, and now so Sarah Ashley Tate winning the women's PR1 single scull sprints. So the view over the grandstand, and you can see up towards the finish tower here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre. Up that top level where the team from BMA do all the fantastic things with the live stream. The grandstand in the middle, over to the right-hand side, the Row Union Bar. And then out towards our merchandise tents, and in fact, they're just sending the drone out to have a look in the commentary box. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Owen Nix has magically decided to disappear. You can see there the BRO room, and then now some old bald bloke talking on a microphone. And Owen Nix is hiding away behind the screen there. Likes being behind the scenes, old Nixie. So the drone, one of the drones that's been giving us fantastic footage, and we'll have that again tomorrow. So the cameras that we've got set up, obviously the cameras on the timing points that you see as the rowers come across. We've got the drones with that fantastic footage, particularly from overhead as the boats come down the course. We've got the vans going down along the northern edge of the Sydney International Regatta Centre, and then also some of the BRO boats also have cameras on those ones. So plenty of different angles out and about there as we see Sarah Ashley Tate and Eric Horry coming towards the pontoon to collect their gold medals.
And presentation of medals for the PR1 Women's Single Scull Sprint Event Championship of Australia. And the medals to be presented by Brigadier Alison Cray, AM CSC retired, Rowing Australia Director and President of Paralympics Australia. And the gold medalist representing Griffith University Surfers Paradise, Sarah Ashley Tate, coached by Chris Holliday. And we move now to the presentation of medals for the PR1 Men's Single Scull Sprint. The gold medalist representing Sydney Rowing Club, Eric Horry. Race 503 is the University Women's Quadruple Scull Sprint event. And it's due to take place at 4:35. And a couple of minutes away from that start time. And the field that we have, UTS Haberfield, New South Wales Institute of Sport in lane number 3. Sienna Morgan, April Draney, Sarah Fard and Lila Anderton. In lane 4, Toowong, Alice O'Toole, Vivian Noonan, Gabrielle Geldard and Jemima Powell, and they're coached by Alex Field and Claire Raven. University of New South Wales in lane number 5, Helen Frith, Elizabeth Raffin, Samantha Backler, Annabelle Singh, coached by Chris Burns and Cameron Butler. Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise in 6 with Gemma Jansen Van Vuren, Ruby Hodges, Danica Free, Lindsay Calvert, coached by Chris Holiday, Duncan Free and Anthony Cook. And closest to us, lane number 7, Holly Garner, Annabelle Fuller, Grace Burke, Elizabeth Carey, coached by Katie Healy and Jared Watson. I don't suspect they'll be held long, and they were not.
No, that wind just starting to push them right through the start, and they are underway. It's the University Women's Quad Scull Sprint Final, and the UTS Haberfield leading Griffith University Surfers Paradise with a big push, getting their bow ball out in front. UTS had it off the first couple of strokes. UTS in lane number 3, sitting in 3rd place at the moment, but moving up fast. Next to them, Toowong Rowing Club is sitting in 4th place, and then back to the University of New South Wales in 5th. The races will be coming thick and fast here as we're coming down to the final stages of the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. This is the second of our finals. It's the University Women's Quad Scull Sprints, and it's Griffith University Surfers Paradise with that lead. They've got about a canvas over UTS over in lane number 3. That's stroked by Lila Anderton, and then across to UTS in lane number 7 as well. Who's going to win the battle of UTS in lanes 3 and 7? Toowong sitting in 4th place, but just starting to move up on UTS, and then back to the University of New South Wales in lane number 5. Coming up towards the finish now, Griffith University Surfers Paradise. They've had the lead from the start, but here comes UTS in lane number 3 on the far side. Are they able to row through them? It's Griffith University Surfers Paradise. UTS, Griffith University, still out in front. They've got a canvas, they've got half a length, and they've got the gold. It's a win for Griffith University Surfers Paradise. Second place will go to UTS in lane 3. We've got looks to be Toowong just over, finishing with the bronze just ahead of UTS Haberfield in lane 7, and then University of New South Wales in 5th place.
Still going, Griffith University Surfers Paradise. They just really stuck to a plan and getting out there, kept the same lengths all throughout the boat, and warded off that challenge from UTS Haberfield in lane number 3. Next up, University Men's Quadruple Scull Sprint event. Lane 4, Sydney University, William Wolfe, Hayden Mounter, Alexander Page, James Scott Brown, coached by Tom Shaw. In lane 5, the Australian National University, Ishan Shalika, Samuel Harrop, Jonathan Adams and Max Reardon, and UTS Haberfield in lane 6 with Angus Dunstan, Luca Malozzi, Harry Birchmore and Sam Green.
So our rowers now underway. Sydney University, ANU and UTS. And not a lot to pick between them at the start. UTS with that early lead over Sydney University, but not by much. ANU about half a boat length back now through the early stages of this race. So you can just see there the conditions just starting, the wind starting to blow up a little bit. There's a little bit of cloud coming overhead as well, making the conditions a little bit trickier for our rowers through these sprint events. And as Owen said, you know, one bad stroke can absolutely wreck it for a 500-metre race. Sydney University now moving their bow ball out in front of UTS in lane number 6. ANU now just dropping off a little bit. They're about a boat length back in 3rd place out of 3. Sydney University still with their bow number out in front of UTS as they're coming in now to the final stages. ANU sitting in third place. You can see there the view of the Sydney University crew of Wolf, Mounter, Page and Scott Brown. And have they got enough to pull ahead of UTS? They have. They've got themselves now about half a boat length over UTS, with ANU sitting in third place, another boat length in behind them into the final stages. And it will be a win for Sydney University in the University Men's Quad Sculls, second to UTS Haberfield and third to ANU. Great row there from Sydney University to get the gold in the University Men's Quad Scull Sprints. So as our University Men's medal winners head in towards the pontoon, we are getting ready for the start of the PR3 Women's Single Scull Sprint. You can just see there some great clouds coming overhead. We've had fantastic weather throughout the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. We did have one day where there was a little bit of rain about, a couple of millimetres through the morning, but largely held off. And then a little bit of wind that's come up every so often as well. So has been fantastic conditions and been very, very lucky here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre. Race 505 is the women's PR3 Single Scull Sprints. In lane 2, we have Bronte Marshall from Community Rowing Club, coached by Anne Craig, Liam James and Barbara Ramjam. In lane 3, also coached by Anne Craig, Liam James and Barbara Ramjam, is Eleanor Taylor. Lane 4 from the University of Queensland, Kaylee Mitchell, coached by Michael Russell. Lane 5 from Drummoyne Rowing Club, Stephanie Walker, coached by Kathleen Hextall. Lane 6 from Community Rowing Club, we have Lauren Webber, coached by Anne Craig, Liam James and Barbara Ramjam. And lane 7 from Bundaberg Rowing Club, Rebecca Markwell, coached by Alan Goff. And both Lauren and Rebecca, gold medal winners in the PR3 mixed coxed fours earlier today, so they'll take a lot of confidence out of that. And I think this will be a very exciting race. Bronte Marshall from Community Rowing Club has the ability to move a boat and move it very, very quickly off the line. As we just see our rowers now coming up towards the 500 metre start. A great view over the trailer parking over on the southern side of the centre, and also of our spectators up on the screen. Plenty of exciting racing coming up in the final stages of day 6 of the Australian Rowing Championships. The final finals on again tomorrow before finishing with the Interstate Regatta, one of the great events in rowing in Australia. The 6 states and 1 territory battling it out across the para single sculls, the men's and women's single sculls, lightweight men's 4, the lightweight women's quad, men's and women's youth 8s, and also the men's and women's 8s for the King and Queen's Cups. So this is the type of tail breeze that you dream of here, Owen, because you can see all of our rowers being pushed up towards the finish line. We just see the silver medal winning UTS Haberfield crew, Angus Dunstan, Luca Milozzi, Harry Birchmore, Sam Green, being presented with their medals by the Executive Officer of Rowing Australian Capital Territory, Sarah Davorin. If you haven't seen Sarah floating around, you've certainly heard her cheering on every single ACT athlete here at these championships. We are underway in the PR3 Women's Single Sculls Sprint. So it does look like we're missing Stephanie Walker from Drummoyne Rowing Club. So on the right-hand side, we've got Bronte Marshall from Commercial, Eleanor Taylor from Community next to her, and then Kaylee Mitchell from the University of Queensland. She is the Queensland Women's PR3 Single Scull representative, so she's out leading at the moment. Third place, behind her on her left-hand side, we've got... Well, it might be Stephanie Walker from Drummoyne there, and then we're missing... No, we've just got a couple of lanes across.
Yeah, just that the problem is, I think Lauren Webber's got a 7 on a bow and is in lane 7, and the proper lane 7's in lane 8. So anyway, they're all racing. They're racing hard.
It's just confusing for an old simple bloke like myself, but it is Kaylee Mitchell. But Bronte Marshall is pushing and pushing hard. Lauren Webber from Community Rowing Club is looking good for the bronze, and then they're ahead of Rebecca Markwell, Stephanie Walker and Eleanor Taylor towards the back of the field. So it's really between the current Queensland Women's PR3 Single Sculler and the former New South Wales Women's Single Sculler. We saw Bronte finish with a bronze in the 2,000 metre race. Can Kaylee hold on? She's led from the start. Here comes Bronte, the pocket rocket, with all the power, heading down the course now, and there is not a lot to pick between the University of Queensland and the Community Rowing Club. Bronte up on the screen there. You can see the absolute pressure that she's putting on. She's moving ahead of Kaylee Mitchell from the University of Queensland. So it's Bronte Marshall from Community Rowing Club leading Kaylee Mitchell from the University of Queensland. Lauren Webber from Community Rowing Club. It looks like she's going to make it a Community 1 and 3 in the women's PR3 single scull sprints. Bronte coming up towards the finish, absolutely thrashing it through. She'll take the gold. It's a gold for Bronte Marshall, silver for Kaylee Mitchell from the University of Queensland, and then third will go to Lauren Webber as she crosses the line to collect a bronze to go with her gold from earlier today. Fourth place looks to be, it's a big finish coming up here from Rebecca Markwell, but Stephanie Walker will hold on for fourth ahead of Rebecca Markwell in fifth place, and then Eleanor Taylor from Community in sixth place. So Bronte Marshall with the win, Kaylee Mitchell with the silver, and Rebecca Markwell with the bronze in the PR3 Women's Single Scull Sprints. I'm going to step away from the microphone now, and we're going to hand it back over to the Dream Team, the sprinters, the sprint specialists, with Chris McCarthy and Richard Dorstein.
So Stuart John off to enjoy the delights of the Row Union marquee. And Richard Dorstein will be back shortly. We do see some slightly ominous looking clouds, but nothing too serious ahead of the final of the heats that we saw. Fantastic heats racing we saw in the schoolgirls Cox Quad Sculls Sprint.
So for this race, 506, the field that we have, Canberra Girls Grammar School in lane number 1. Melbourne Girls Grammar are in lane 2, and that's with the Caitlin Anthony crew, and the Jemima Ross crew is in lane number 3 for Melbourne Girls Grammar. Kinross in lane 4 and 5. That's the Tessa Wong crew in 4 and the Sophie Luelf crew in 5. Rockhampton Grammar School in lane 6. Trinity Lutheran College in lane 7 and Gippsland Grammar in lane number 8.
See these conditions just getting a little bit faster now in the late stages of racing this afternoon, and they are off. The Gippsland Grammar School on this side of the course getting away very well indeed. The starters certainly not holding them for long here in these tailwind conditions. Gippsland Grammar away well, as are Trinity Lutheran, the two green crews on the near side of the course. The bright green maybe just getting the better of things with Gippsland Grammar and Trinity Lutheran going away well off the start. Kinross Walleroy in the centre of the course. We've seen some fantastic qualifying performances from them in the earlier rounds of racing, both this and the schoolboys Cox Quad Sculls, and we'll see if that will translate into some medals this afternoon in the crews from the central west of New South Wales. Canberra Girls Grammar on the far side of the course, going with them in the second 250 metre mark. They're crossing that 1750 line now. Trinity Lutheran just edging out in front of the crews from Gippsland Grammar and Rockhampton Grammar to their right. The two Kinross Walleroy crews starting to make their presence known in the closing stages of the race. Canberra Girls Grammar on the far side of the course look to be just out of things at this stage. From the two Kinross Walleroy crews, it's the Tessa Wong, Olivia Searle, Elkie Sweetapple and Sienna Wilkin crew who just have their bow balls in front of their schoolmates, and Trinity Lutheran sitting in the provisional bronze medal position. Those top three crews, the two Kinross Walleroy crews and Trinity Lutheran, look almost certainly to be our podium contenders, but the order in which they will cross the line still has yet to be decided. It looks to be the Kinross crew in lane 4 from a fast finishing Trinity Lutheran. The Kinross crew in lane 5 not giving up yet. It'll be the Kinross crew in lane 4. Kinross Walleroy take the win. The Kinross crew in lane 5 make it a 1-2. Trinity Lutheran in 3rd. Canberra Girls Grammar 4th. Gippsland Grammar 5th. Crew in lane 3 from Melbourne Girls Grammar, 6th ahead of the lane 2 Melbourne Girls Grammar crew, and Rockhampton Grammar rounding out to the field in this final of the schoolgirls Cox Quad Sculls sprint.
Provisional time 1:37.06. And we now move down to the presentation pontoon. Matt Bilkowski, the Rowing Queensland Chief Executive Officer, is making the first of the presentations for the PR3 Women's Single Scull Sprint event. The bronze medalist representing Community Rowing Club, Lauren Webber, coached by Anne Craig, Liam James. Winner of the silver medal representing the University of Queensland, Kaylee Mitchell, coached by Michael Russell. And the winner of the gold medal representing Community Rowing Club, Bronte Marshall. The coaches Anne Craig, Liam James and Barbara Ramjan. Please congratulate the medalists in the PR3 Women's Single Scull Sprint event. Now move to Schoolgirl Coxed 8 Sprint. And this is going to be quick. Scotch Oakburn in lane number 1. Loretto Kirribilli in lane 2. Pymble Ladies College with their younger crew in lane number 3. In lane 4 is Kinross Walleroy School. In lane 5, Melbourne Girls Grammar. In lane 6, Pymble Ladies College. In lane 7, Loretto Ballarat. And in lane 8, Wilderness School.
Two Pymble Ladies crews representing here in the final. We saw, I think, the two fastest times from both of the schools from the North Shore of Sydney who row out of Leichhardt Rowing Club. Second 8 looking especially impressive. They've made the trip out here to Penrith specifically for this race. It is their only race of the weekend, and will certainly be one to watch over in lane 3. It's the Ben Booker and Franz Imfeld coach crew, their first 8, coached by Carl Schmidt in lane 6, and they're away and racing Look to be the crews on the near side of the course there from Wilderness School in South Australia, and Loreto Ballarat in lane 7 in the yellow colours who got away best. Wilderness School really getting away well, as are the Pymble second 8. The Pymble first 8 going with them now, and Kinross at Walleroy just trailing the pack in the opening stages, of trailing those leading few crews. The Pymble Ladies College first 8 and the yellow Empacher Shell in lane 6, starting to move away on the crew to their right from Melbourne Girls Grammar in Victoria, as Kinross Walleroy having a good tussle with Pymble Ladies College in lane 3, their second 8. Wilderness School from South Australia going with the Pymble Ladies College first 8 on the grandstand side of the course. Pymble Ladies College and Wilderness School are our battle for the lead. The minor medals could go anywhere at this stage, with Melbourne Girls Grammar coming back on the crew from Kinross Walleroy and the Pymble Ladies College second 8. Loreto Ballarat and Loreto Kirribilli and Scotch Oakburn just out of things at this stage. It's between Pymble Ladies College and the Wilderness School from Tasmania for the gold medal. The bronze is looking to go the way of Melbourne Girls Grammar in lane 5. Pymble Ladies College with their bowels just in front of the Wilderness School. Pymble Ladies College have got 2 seats on the Wilderness School in the closing stages. They're coming up strong, but it'll be Pymble Ladies College hang on to the win in the Schoolgirl Cox State Sprint. Wilderness School in second place. The crew in lane 5 from Melbourne Girls Grammar take the bronze medal, and a flurry of crews across the line for the minor placings. Kinross Walleroy, Pymble Ladies second 8, Loreto Ballarat, Loreto Kirribilli and Scotch Oakburn rounding out the field there, as we see the jubilation on the faces of Pymble Ladies College.
Great win there from the Wilderness School of Adelaide, who just missed out by about half a second. It looks like they're 1:27.09 the time at this stage for the crew from Pymble Ladies. They'll enjoy the victory there. Silver to the Wilderness School. And the bronze has gone to Melbourne Girls Grammar School as well on lane 5. They will be the medalists from the Schoolgirls Cox 8 Sprint. Down to the start line, we have the next race lining up. This Schoolboys Quad Scull Sprint. Not time to start till 5 o'clock, about 4 minutes away, but with us fairly shortly, I would suggest. And while talking about other head of the river races, Chris, I did find out that the Hale School were the winners today of the Perth head of the river race to the Champion Lakes Regatta Centre, ahead of Christchurch Grammar School and Trinity in third place at the Hale School.
I think it's been a good while since Hale won ahead of the river in Perth. Any West Australian school rowing historians that can confirm that for us? I'd love to let the people know, as the school at row in the light blue colours getting the win.
It was, and Scotch College Perth finished in 4th place. So it's been an interesting day for Scotch. 2 4th places in 2 different states, but they're racing here in the Schoolboys Quad Scull Sprint. Pembroke in 1, St Patrick's Tasmania in 2, Cranbrook in 3, Radford lane 4, Kinross Walleroy in 5, Kinross in 6, Rockhampton Grammar School in 7, and Launceston Grammar School are racing in lane 8. They're already through the first 150 metres here, Al. Winners, of course, from the 4 heats in the centre lanes of the course, but very little between them here in the opening stages. Maybe Kinross Walleroy with 2 boats there side by side. Lane 5 just from lane 6, I would think. Radford College of the ACT, the crew of Maloof, Scott, Gaydon and McKee and Farris. Kinross, Walleroy, Dimmock, Wakeham, Cleary, Smith and Peterson there. Our lead 2 crews now clearly in the centre lanes here of the Sydney International Regatta Centre. Tied also for 3rd, Kinross lane 6. Cranbrook in 3, just trailing it probably from St Patrick's Tasmania in 2, and the Pembroke School as well. But it's the 2 crews in the middle lanes, and Kinross Walleroy going for home. We saw them get 1st and 2nd. Just a couple of races to go. They are well placed here, and also the crew from Launceston Grammar School right down lane 8 coming home strongly as well. So it's Kinross Walleroy, the light blue Scale sprint. Launceston Grammar School might just be in second. Radford still there as well. And the second crew from Kinross Walleroy. It'll be gold to Kinross on lane 5. The silver and bronze very close. Launceston Grammar School, Radford College will hit together. Launceston Grammar, I think, might have just pinched second. Radford College will be third. Kinross is second boat. Crosses in fourth. Fifth and sixth was tight. Possibly St Patrick's, Tasmania, just ahead of Rockhampton Grammar School, Pembroke School, and also Cranbrook lane 3. It's a photo officially at this stage for second and third, but Kinross Walleroy have got across for another win here. 1:24.95, the unofficial time, and a photo for second place.
Really looked like Launceston Grammar to my eye. They were certainly ahead in the closing strokes, but that Radford College crew really coming home with a wet sail and to challenge. So we'll wait for the official results of the photo for the bronze medal there. Winning time 1:24.95. So not messing around, not hanging around here in the sprint races as the wind picks up. Got a beautiful tailwind propelling our crews down the course, and that's meaning we're getting through our program with amazing efficiency here this evening.
It is, yep, great to see the quick time between races. The crews all lining up quite well and being sent on their way almost ahead of time in a few cases here. We do still await confirmation there of second and third, but certainly both those crews will collect a medal.
And the next race, which will be underway very shortly, race 509, the Schoolboys Cox State Sprint, a straight final presented by Bolle. And two crews from Scotch College in Adelaide in lanes 2 and 3. St Augustine's from New South Wales in lane 4. Ballarat Grammar in lane 5. Unley High from South Australia in lane 6. Friends School from Tasmania in lane 7. And the Scots College from New South Wales in lane 8. Closest to the camera there in the yellow Zooties. And, with these faster conditions, we're seeing our starters not holding the crews for long at all. We see the presentation of medals there. The silver place crew from the schoolgirls Cox State. But we are away and racing in the Schoolboys Cox State Sprint. And the crews on the far side of the course from Scotch College in Adelaide. We mentioned two Scotch College crews placing 4th today from separate states. And the crews from Adelaide here in the Sprint Regatta looking to make sure that that is not the case as they get away well. And they're joined by the crew from St Augustine's, the locals from the northern beaches of Sydney. The crews on the near side of the course from Friends in Tasmania and Scots from New South Wales going with them. Looks to still just be narrowly the Scotch College from Adelaide crew in lane 3, just ahead of St Augustine's in the opening stages. The two crews in the centre of the course from Ballarat Grammar and Unley High just out of the race, but 5 crews going for 3 medals here as we approach the line. The crew from Scotch and Adelaide on the far side of the course just dropping behind by about 3 seats. We've definitely got a race on in earnest for the gold medal between Scotch College in lane 2 and St Augustine's in lane 4 to their left, and then a race lane 8. It is St Augustine's and Scotch College from Adelaide on the far side of the course that are going stroke for stroke, bow ball to bow ball here in the Schoolboys Cox State Sprint. It'll come right down to the line, but St Augustine's College, the locals, take the win. Second place will be Scotch College. Third place will be a photo finish, but I'm calling the lane 7 crew from Friends in Tasmania, narrowly from Scots from the eastern suburbs of Sydney. Scotch College from Adelaide in 5th place, Unley High in 6th, and 7th will likely go the way of Ballarat Grammar in lane 5.
Great race there in the Schoolboys Cox State. Scotch Melbourne and Scotch Perth, they've had their 4th place finishes. Scotch Adelaide will get a silver medal here today. And 3rd place, we think the Friends School, but that's still to be confirmed. And a good win there to the St Augustine's crew in the Schoolboys Cox 8 Sprint, sponsored by Bolle.
Official results of the previous race, the Schoolboys Cox Quad Sprint. First place, Kinross Walleroy, that one was certain. Launceston Grammar just narrowly ahead of a very fast finishing Radford College crew who took the bronze medal in race 508, the Schoolboys Cox Quad Skull Sprint.
Presentations continuing here as well. That's the Pymble Ladies crew receiving their gold medals after the previous race, or 2 races ago, the Schoolgirls Cox 8 Sprint. We do thank our state CEOs who are doing most of the medal presenting this afternoon. And the result official, I don't quite think those times are correct, but the placings, St Augustine's first, Scotch Adelaide in second place, and the Friends School, exactly as you called it, Chris, in third position. It's not 0.01 by 0.01 by 0.01, but very close regardless, and certainly that's the right order. St Augustine's first, Crew in lane 4, second place, Scotch College Adelaide lane 3, third place to the Friends School from Hobart in the Schoolboys Cox State Sprint, sponsored by Bolle.
So we'll just correct that. It's confirmation that race 509, the Schoolboys Cox State Sprint, was indeed a dead heat for third place between the Friends School from Tasmania and Scots College from New South Wales. Having a few hiccups with the timing, however, can be confirmed. 1 second the margin first to second, and 0 seconds between third. As that is updated in front of me, we'll come back to you with the official once we have a little bit more confirmation on what's going on there.
Racing shortly in any case in the PR3 men's single scull sprint. You can see there are 7 scullers listed. 26 visible on, in fact, no, all 7 there on the course now, and they're on their way in this race. The PR3 men's single scull sprint. So Aaron Skinner racing for Nestles on lane 2. Harrison Nichols of Hunter Valley Grammar in lane 2. Bodie Hebhart, Adelaide High in 3. Michael Taylor from Tasmania University racing in lane 5. Christian Lane Krebs of Bundaberg in 6. Sam Shaloub, Community in 7. And Mac Russell for the University of Queensland racing in lane 8. And he's got away to a very good start too, has the sculler from University of Queensland, coached by his father, Michael Russell, racing on this grandstand side of the course, because this is a straight final, this race, so no heats to determine our top-seeded scullers to the middle lanes. The chances are certainly all over the course. Doing well also is Harrison Nichols for Hunter Valley Grammar School in lane 2, and Michael lane 3, in fact it is, but second from the rider screen. And then we had Michael Taylor of Tasmania University in lane 4. So there are top 3 as they make for their stakes tomorrow afternoon, including Harrison Nicholl, who won this race last year for New South Wales. He's a late change to the New South Wales team, and will race again tomorrow in Sky Blue of New South Wales. But it is still Mac Russell for the University of Queensland racing on lane 8, also a previous winner of the Interstate Para Single Scull. Harrison Nichols for Hunter Valley Grammar is moving well now on the far side of the course. They're clear top 2. And Aaron Skinner of Nestles in Victoria, both there in the bright red boats, but a race into Mac Russell and Harrison Nichols with only a couple of strokes to go. It is the Queensland sculler in front here in the closing strokes, the PR3 men's single scull sprint, and it will be Mac Russell winning it for the University of Queensland. Second place goes to Harrison Nicholl for Hunter Valley Grammar. Third will be Aaron Skinner for the Nestles Rowing Club of Warrnambool in Victoria. He comes across in third place. The black boat there of Michael Taylor for the Tasmania University Boat Club finishes in fourth place. Fifth will be the Adelaide High sculler, Bodie Hebhart, with the bright orange cap. Next home is going to be the Bundaberg sculler, Christian Lane Krebs, and seventh will go to Community's Sam Shaloub. .45.44 there, and almost a 1 second win to Mac Russell over Harrison Nichols. Bronze to Aaron Skinner of Nestles. Wind picking up here a little bit late in the day. You can see the flags fluttering, but they are flying straight down the course here. So it is tailwind conditions, very quick racing in any case over 500 metres, especially with the wind behind these rowers.
So final of the Open Women's Coxless Quad Scull Sprint ahead of us. Crew's almost ready to take off. Composite of Swan River, West Australian, University of West Australian rowing clubs in lane 1, Brisbane and GPS lane 2, Toowong in lane 3, Mersey from Tasmania in lane 4. The Banks and Composites, otherwise known as the Victoria Cup crew for tomorrow afternoon in lane 5. Team Singapore in lane 6. We had a great race after having a little incident with the boys in the heat. University of Queensland in lane 7 and the Australian National University in lane 8.
Reminder all supporters that we sprint regard to return their brown numbers as soon as possible after your race. All sprint racing today is please return their brown numbers as quickly as possible.
We are away and racing in the Open Women's Quad Scull, and it is the crew second from the grandstand side of the course from the University of Queensland, who have certainly gotten away best, taking almost half a length in the opening exchanges here. The Women's Quad Scull Sprint final. That's Ellie Reedy, Elizabeth Newell, Lucy McFarlane and Emily Graham, coached by Phil Bergeron and Michael Russell. They've got almost a boat length on the field in this early stages of the race, racing in the National Training Centre colours, the ex-National Training Centre boat there in lane 7. As for second place, it is anyone's guess. The crew's in the centre of the course there. The crew from Toowong, Mersey, the Banks Composite, Team Singapore, and even the Australian National University all still in with a hunt for a medal. But the University of Queensland have taken a decisive lead in the opening 300 metres of the race. They've got clear water on the entire rest of the field, up to 2 lengths in some instances to their nearest competitors. But the crew in the centre of the course from Mersey making the best of that race for the minor medals. They're going stroke for stroke with Toowong to their right-hand side, and Team Singapore as well in the mix, as are the Victorians, the Banks Composite in the centre of the course. Our gold medalist, barring disaster, will almost certainly be the University of Queensland Boat Club as they surge across to an all-the-way win here in the women's sprint final of the Open Women's Quad Scull. But Mersey and Toowong are going absolutely hammer and tongs here for the silver medal. It is surging every stroke. It'll be Mersey narrowly over Toowong. The Banks Composite narrowly missing out as the Singapore crew just have some troubles with steering across the line. Brisbane and GPS were 4th, Singapore 5th, Swan River Composite 6th, and the Australian National University in 8th place there.
Leisurely stroll down the course there for University of Queensland. Made it look very, very easy getting out to a big lead.
That was extremely impressive. I don't think we'll see a margin quite like that for the rest of this afternoon's racing.
No, I don't think so. But again, called for a photo there for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It looked to us like it was Mersey from Toowong, the next medalist, and Banks Composite, which is the Victoria Cup crew, I think just missing out in 4th spot. But we'll await confirmation. We had a very close finish. We think a dead heat a couple of races ago. But we'll again wait for confirmation after this particular race, the final of the Open Women's Quad Scull Sprint. Presentations continuing here as well. That was Harrison Nicol from Hunter Valley Grammar receiving a silver medal. The gold there went to Mac Russell from the University of Queensland, and the bronze presented to Aaron Skinner from the Nestles Rowing Club in Warrnambool. We again thank our state CEOs for the majority of presentations at the Sprint Regatta. Matt Belkowski from Rowing Queensland, Daniel Tackenberg of Rowing Western Australia, Sarah Davorin from rowing ACT, Andrew Swift from rowing South Australia, Melissa Ashton Garrard of rowing New South Wales, and Adam Harrison from rowing Victoria. And also earlier we had presentations from Brigadier Alison Cray, AMCSC, rowing Australia Director and President of Paralympics Australia. Reminder again, we did make the announcement on course earlier today, but for those on the live stream who might be here this tomorrow, we are still in need of some volunteers to undertake spectator afternoons racing. So if you are going to be here and have a few hours to spare, please make yourself known to one of the event staff or representatives of Rowing Australia. The best place to do so is in the side office near the front entrance to the regatta venue in the car park. Thank you function tomorrow afternoon. Our yellow shirted volunteers, so much the lifeblood of this regatta. And if you have some time to spare tomorrow afternoon in a spectator services role, then we would certainly encourage you to do so. And there is Adam Harrison, the acting CEO of Rowing Victoria, undertaking his first medals presenting duty at a Nationals Championship to the crew there from Toowong. Bronze medals in the Open Women's Quad Scull Sprint. And again, we do thank all of our presenters, the state CEOs, for their quick fire work this afternoon. Of course, I can't show all the presentations on the live stream given the small gap between races, but we do thank them all for their work. And you can see also those many yellow shirted volunteers hard at work on the pontoon too, as we now only have 3 races to go to conclude today's sprint is the next of those. So 3 big races to go over the 500 metre sprint course through to race 514 to conclude the 6th day of the Australian Rowing Championships for 2024. And of course a big day still coming up tomorrow. Not so big in terms of number of races, but definitely big as far as the prizes are concerned. And we are racing in race 512, the Open Women's Coxed 8 Sprint. A scratching from the crew there from Sydney in the centre of the course, leaves a field of 4. UTS have a field. University of Western Australia and Sydney Uni Composite crew racing on lane 3, and Melbourne University on lane 7, I should say, the crew from Melbourne Uni. So 2 crews either side of the vacant lane. To the left, UTS and University of Queensland. To the right, Swan River Composite and also Melbourne University. And those 2 crews have certainly got the pace up in the early strokes of this race. It's very tight between them as they power their way down through this 500 metre course. The crew on the edge of the screen there from Melbourne University is just probably trailing it to now from Swan River Composite. I've got Melbourne Uni rating on 43 strokes per minute, and Swan River gap back on the rest of the fields. They're quickly approaching here in the finish tower. 150 to go in the final of the Open Women's Coxed 8 Sprint, and it's the 2 crews on the grandstand side with Swan River Composite just pushing ahead of Melbourne University on the far side. UTS look to be in 3rd ahead of the University of Queensland, but still tight between the top 2 crews. UTS finishing quickly on the far side. Swan River Composite holding on by about 1/3 of a length from Melbourne University. 3 or 4 strokes to go. It's the crew from Swan River, Fremantle, University of Western Australia and Sydney Uni who'll come across and take the win. The Open Women's Coxed 8 Sprint goes the way of the composite crew in the MPAC. The 2nd place is Melbourne University, lane 7. 3rd will go to UTS in lane 3. And 4th place, University of Queensland, racing on lane 4. And Swan River Composite, the winners there of the Open Women's 8 Sprint final.
See them lining up tomorrow afternoon for the in the Queen's Cup. And I believe in the men's Cox State sprint, we'll also see the West Australian Kings Cup crew getting a little bit of a hit out on the course. I'm no doubt ahead of a training row this evening for tomorrow afternoon's interstate regatta.
Great warm up there for the Western Australians. The Open Men's Quad Scull, the penultimate race of day 6 of Saturday of the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. Full fleet of 8 crews here on the course and a straight final. The West Australian Composite in lane 1, Griffith University Surfers Paradise in lane 2, Mossman Rowing Club lane 3, UTS Haberfield occupying both lanes 4 and 5. Buckingham Composite in lane 6, a Newcastle Composite with Penrith and with Penrith Rowing Club in lane 7. And Sydney Rowing Club in lane 8. And this is the race we've been told is the race of the day, as our co-commentator Ben Homer lines up in lane 7. And the tailwind just maybe getting the best of these crews. You can see the strength of the tailwind there. The crews all drifting past the start line, having to come back and do it again.
I think this is possibly the first time we've seen the crews backing it down. I think the BROs have been quite happy to send them on their way very quickly in these fast and tricky conditions to align 8 crews at the start.
Looking at Ben Homer's doing. He's a man of numbers. He would still want a proper time for the 500 metres. You'll start us exactly in position.
Driving the data. So we see 2 Sydney Rowing Club athletes watching on their club mates. Haberfield crew there in lane 4, 3/4 of that crew. So you got a quite rapid 6 minutes and 4 seconds in the under-23 men's quad earlier on this afternoon, backing things up in the open men's quad with not quite as speedy as a time against the some very well-credentialed National Training Centre athletes. We're back for redemption in the sprint quad, and they are off and racing in the open men's quadruple scull sprint. Full fleet of 8 crews here, and it is that UTS crew in the centre of the course who look to have gotten away particularly well, as have the Buckingham Composite from Tasmania and the Newcastle Composite going absolutely hell for leather, trying to hang on to a fast-starting Sydney Rowing Club crew on the near side of the course. Griffith University Surfers Paradise on the far side of the course going with them. And it looks to me that only the lanes 1 and 3 crews from West Australian Rowing Club and Mossman Rowing Club just short of the pace in the opening exchanges here, as UTS Haberfield in lane 5, even Lawson Banks, Edward Kelly, Tane Potts and Peter Waldersey, coached by Sam Fennessy and Alexandra Wenyan. Alex Wenyan, who is off enjoying the sights of Tasmania ahead of next year's National Championships this week. But the Buckingham and North Est Composite, the Tasmanians themselves in lane 6, who are striding out to a lead in the closing stages of this race. 110 metres left to row now. Griffith University Surfers Paradise on the far side of the course have made a late comeback here. The Griffith University Surfers Paradise, the UTS crew in lane 4, the North Est Composite and Sydney Rowing Club trying to get their bows into the medals, but it might be too much work to make up. There's 3 crews coming down to the line here, and it is going to be hard to pick between Griffith University Surfers Paradise and the Tasmanians. The Tasmanians take the win. Griffith Uni in 2nd, and the UTS squad in lane 4 in 3rd. Sydney Rowing Club in 4th. UTS Haberfield in 5th. Mossman in 6th. Newcastle and Penrith in 6th. West Australian Rowing Club in Swan River in 8th place there.
Oh, well called, Chris. That was without a breath. That's remarkable.
I think I might need to go join Stuart John at the Row Union marquee any minute now.
Absolutely. I'm tired of listening to it. 1:20.51 there for, Buckingham North Esk it is, as the timing system is still catching its breath as well. Buckingham North Esk have got the win. The crew on lane 6, 1:21.06 it will be. 0.2 of a second at this stage ahead of Griffith University Surfers Paradise, who finished second. UTS Haberfield third. That was the lane 4 crew. Sydney Rowing Club were fourth in lane 8. Fifth was UTS Haberfield, the lane 5 combination. Sixth, Mossman. Seventh, Newcastle Penrith, the Ben Homer crew on lane 7. And 8th place, West Australian Rowing Club with Swan River on lane 1. Those margins may adjust a little, but I reckon the order is correct. It was a win to the Buckingham North Esk composite crew. Dion Burke from Launceston and Joseph Wilson from the Buckingham Rowing Club in Hobart, coached by Trevor Barrett. One race to go to conclude the 6th day, the penultimate day of the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. This huge week at Penrith concludes, of course, tomorrow. We've got a lot to look forward to then, not least of which is the Interstate Regatta Sprint Championship of Australia over 500 metres. The Sydney Composite crew in lane 1. In fact, a St Paul's College crew advised from the Sydney University, so that's a combination on lane 2. The Sydney Composite crew in lane 3 is in fact the West Australian Kings Cup 8, which will race for Western Australia tomorrow. We saw their women's crew come down the course and claim a gold medal a few minutes ago, and maybe the men's crew now can repeat the dose. UTS Haberfield in lane 4, an empty lane 5, a scratching there from the Sydney UTS crew. Lane 6 is canned UTS Commercial and University of Queensland crew. That looks very likely to me to be the Queensland Kings Cup 8 as well. And then lane 7, Melbourne University and Sydney University Composite crew. At least 2 of the Kings Cup 8s on the course here. An early preview of tomorrow's racing coming up here in the last of our sprint races. And these tailwind conditions, this will be over before Chris McCarthy can draw breath. We are racing in race 514, the Open Men's Cox State Sprint. The St Paul's College crew over in lane 2. Next to the West Australian Kings Cup 8 in 3. UTS Haberfield racing in 4. Empty lane, then lane 6 is the Queensland Kings Cup 8, and lane 7 the Melbourne Uni Sydney Uni composite combination. And what an even start it is between these crews. Maybe just that Sydney composite crew in lane 3, the West Australian 8, as they in fact are edging out to a narrow lead of the crews on either side of them on about 45 strokes per minute. The crew there from Western Australia. The Queensland Kings Cup 8 racing 2 from the left of the screen. Wasn't quite as quick away, but they're on 47 strokes per minute in the early strokes. In fact, about halfway through this 500 metre race already. So it's the West Australians over in lane 3, certainly with the edge over St Paul's and UTS. Either side of them, the canned composite crew from Queensland lane 6 and the Melbourne Uni Sydney Uni crew doing a very good job also down the grandstand side of the course in lane 7. So it might just be the Melbourne Uni Sydney Uni crew on this side or across to the West Australian Kings Cup 8, who are really motoring now on the far side of the Sydney International Regatta Centre. And they look to be getting their boat very, very close to the lead there. That combination from Western Australia now. The two will go to the line very close together, but the West Australian crew home, Melbourne Uni, Sydney Uni on lane 7. Third goes to the Cairns Composite Crew, the Queensland Kings Cup 8, ahead of UTS Haverfield, fourth in lane 4, and fifth place to the Sydney Composite or St Paul's College Crew racing on lane 2. But a great warm-up there for the West Australian Kings Cup 8, or as they are in the program, Sydney Western Australian Rowing Club, University of Western Australia, Swan River and Fremantle. Liam Davis, Miles McQuillan, Riley Reese-Turner, Ben Clayton, Blake Wyatt, Jack Cleary, Alex Rossi, Joshua Hicks and Tara Rogers take out the last race of the sprint regatta, the Open Men's Cox 8 Sprint.
Richard, you've gone very pale.
Breathe.
Breathe.
I'm glad that's the last race, but it was a great race.
I don't think either of us have got another one in us.
It's been a great sprint regatta. It is action-packed. It is always close by its very nature. And it is brilliant to see, especially these 8s and quads coming down at high speed, high rating, high intensity racing. And we'll see it again tomorrow back over the 2,000 metre combination who took out the win. But largely, obviously, a West Australian crew, and they'll race for their state tomorrow in the Interstate Regatta. So still a few presentations are here to take place, but it has fairly dark here in the last half hour or so at the Sydney International Regatta Centre. So I think we're finishing racing probably at a very good time.
Yeah, we've just avoided any potential rain, which seems to have skirted us here, past just to the north, and possibly dumping some water in the rest of the Penrith Lakes system. You can see there on that fantastic drone footage showing the hive of activity that is the boat park here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre.
Still plenty of boats there as a few start to pack up and prepare for the journey home, but we are on air from about 7:30 tomorrow morning. The first race at the special early time of 7:45, and the whole day, Chris, will be on the live stream.
Rowing Australia is broadcasting live via livestream.com and also linked via our website all week until the final race tomorrow. This year, we are also broadcasting the finals via the Sports Entertainment Network from Thursday to Sunday. Hello to our interstate and international viewers.